I brought out here to stand in solidarity with some of my brothers and sisters against a man who committed an atrocious crime to stand up for the dignity of a woman who lost hers.
What do you think about the fact that, the 6-month sentence, I know some of the other folks here have been saying it's way too short?
I think that rape is perhaps the most atrocious crime that can be committed, even worse than murder, because you leave the person who's raped in a position of torture that is going to follow them for years and years and years. And to receive a sentence so minuscule and then to be pardoned of that sentence is an act that is so despicable that it barely has words to describe. And then for the father to say that it was 20 minutes of pleasure when that woman could very well be suffering for the rest of her life with nightmares, PTSD, confusion, and who knows what else. What happened was a complete act of injustice. The courts failed us. So it is our responsibility as the citizens of the United States of America to come forward and say this was not just. Now we take the law into our own hands. We place the appropriate sanctions so that everybody knows what happens. We make them uncomfortable. We make sure people know what happens. And in the process, the one benefit we receive, the one thing we couldn't receive elsewhere, is we get this. We get to speak out and talk against rape culture, male supremacy, patriarchy, and all of these structures that continue to uphold this sort of behavior in front of millions, in front of the entire country. So even though this atrocious crime happened, we are making the best of it so that we can transform this evil and despicable act into something that might be able to save lives in the future, perhaps even change the systems that allowed this to happen in the first place.
Are you from this area?
Yes.
And the fact that, obviously he's been here, but he lives right here, he's coming back home to the area. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know you're a friend down the way, perhaps.
I think that question is a little misleading because Brock Turner was soon to be Olympian. He was at Stanford University. His crime is known, he's publicized, and that's why we make him a target. But every city, everywhere across the country, across the world, there are women being raped. There are children being sexually assaulted, molestation, pedophilia. This is not limited to this city. This is all across the country, all across the world. And if people took the time to listen to these stories of abuse and have compassion, they would realize that what is happening is an epidemic worse than a heroin epidemic can be. And it's global.
Are you part of any